Dr. Himebaugh, thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of the Cast Health Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Our first segment on the podcast is just a simple get to know you, because we like to get to know better the people who are providing care here at Cast Health. So we'll start with some rapid fire questions for you. Where are you from?
I'm originally from a suburb of Salt Lake City, Utah. So I spent most of my life there, but I've moved around a lot in the meantime, but at least until I was about 18 years old.
And your favorite TV series?
I'd probably say The Office. I think that's a pretty common one. I made my wife watch Breaking Bad. It made her nervous, and she made me watch Project Runway, which also made me nervous. But we compromised on The Office, which is a great show.
It's
really
a
funny.
great
You
show.
can watch it a lot.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, if you're cooking dinner to impress, what are you making?
Lately, we've been really into pizza. So my wife, like a lot of people, got into like sourdough while we were in lockdown. I don't know, everybody did. So we got a starter from some friends, and she got really, instead of bread, she started making pizza dough, and she's experimented a lot with it. But I'm the actual cooker, I guess you'd say. We got like a gas-powered little pizza oven called an uni, and I'm really good at sliding it in there with the pizza peel. I feel like a professional. It was one of my lifelong goals was to be a pizza maker. When I was a kid, I told my mom I want to be a heart surgeon or a pizza maker.
Both great careers.
Yeah, so I'm partway there.
Both probably make people very happy.
Yeah.
What's your favorite pizza then?
We usually put like green peppers and some onion and pepperoni, and then we'll do like a margarita one for the kids.
Oh,
it's
sounds
pretty good.
So good.
Yeah.
Hobbies?
Mostly spending time with my kids. They're busy. I got an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. But if I'm doing something for myself, I do love to run. I do like to read, but I don't have a lot of time to sit down, so I'll listen to some podcasts, or I like to listen to biographies and things. So I've been into that, history kind of stuff. And then because I'm from Salt Lake, I do ski. I don't get to ski much
No, you don't.
In this area.
So there's not a ton of downhill skiing here, but do you cross country ski?
I've been a couple times. I haven't been since I was probably 20 something, so it's been a long time. But it's a little more like running and less like a roller coaster, I guess I'd say.
Yeah, it's a totally different vibe, if you will. Yeah. We have cross country skis, and so we do it out. We're out in the country, and so you don't want to use a cornfield; it's the bean field.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're going to get hurt out there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, well, skiing, that's great. Favorite holiday?
It's got to be Christmas. It's just a great feeling out there. Nice spirit. Everybody's happy. And who doesn't love presents?
Yeah, especially with a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Oh, it's magical.
It's magical. What will we never catch you doing?
There's a lot of things you wouldn't catch me doing, but I guess I'd say you'll rarely catch me wearing red. And not because I hate the Huskers.
Oh, no.
But it's not because I don't. It's because I grew up in Salt Lake City, and I went to Brigham Young University, and their rival is the Utes. And you cannot. I couldn't even bring myself to wear red. I can't even talk about somebody in a positive light that went to the U. It's hard because my brother went there, but he's the black sheep. Even his wife went to BYU. Every single adult in my family went to the other school, and he went to the University of Utah. He's a very nice guy.
So he made one mistake.
Yeah,
he's made one mistake.
It's okay. I forgive him, but I can hardly wear red. We have adopted Huskers. I'm sorry about. We're in Iowa right now. But
I'm from Nebraska, so it's fine.
Yeah. So, but. We adopted them at a bad time, I think.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, it's a building year.
Yeah, they're coming back this year. This is the year.
What's better, the book or the movie?
The last book book that was a movie that I read was Harry Potter, which when I started coming out here a few years ago, I told myself I need something to listen to that's entertaining, and I did the audiobook for Harry Potter, which was excellent. And the movie's not nearly as good, obviously, but it's still good. I mean, it's different, but it's a different thing. But the book is a lot better. The
books are excellent.
Yeah.
So if you're driving alone in the car, as you do, as you're commuting out back and forth, what are you jamming out to?
Mostly, there's a couple of podcasts I like to listen to. like a sports podcast. And then I've been listening to a lot of books. Like I said, I did the Harry Potter series. I'm in the mood for another fiction book, but I haven't come across anything yet. But I did a lot of historical biographies. So I did like a Ulysses S. Grant and George Washington and Alexander Hamilton, of course.
Of course,
I did that one. And then there's a couple other ones, John Rockefeller. And I just find it really interesting to get perspective on history from people that lived it, rather than just reading a book and saying this is what happened. It's so interesting to me to see the real people that lived during that time and imagine myself like there. It's really interesting. So I like that. But if it's music, occasionally, if I'm like falling asleep or something like that, I can't listen to that all day. Then it's like usually classic rock or like I don't know. That's basically
just some classic rock.
90s alternative.
Sure.
Why not?
Sure. Absolutely. Pets. Got pets at home?
We don't have any pets. My sister was growing up was allergic to cats, so we never had any like furry pets. And we keep telling our kids that, because I know they wouldn't take care of a pet, that our landlord would not let us have a dog or a cat. Once we buy a house, they probably won't. But when I was a kid, my brother and I really wanted a pet, and we got a parrot.
Oh.
It's an African gray parrot. It's like a legit parrot. And he talks a lot. He's still alive. He's 25 years old. And
begs the question, what did you teach him to say?
I wish he would say anything that I said, but he only says what my mom says. So he sounds exactly like my mom, too.
Really? Like imprinted on mom for some reason?
Yeah, just basically like yelling at the kids, telling me to brush my teeth or say my prayers, or what else does he sing? He sings the Cougar Fight song from BYU. And then but it's mostly that kind of stuff. My theory is that he makes the noises. They want to make the noises of the most dangerous animal in the jungle to ward off predators, and I think that he identified my mom as the dominant
mom
individual.
Is the alpha.
She is definitely. So
okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to sound like her to ward off predators.
That's excellent. And last but not least, next or dream travel destination? Next
travel destination is we're going camping on the California-Oregon coast, like Northern California. We're going next month. We have some friends from med school that live up in the Portland area, and they invited us because they're going to the Redwoods National Park. And we're going to I'm an Eagle Scout, so I'm down with camping, but it's been a long time. And my wife is not a big camper. She'd rather stay in a hotel. So we compromised, and we're getting one of those little, those vans they convert into like kind of an RV.
Yeah.
And so it's not like a big RV or anything, but we're doing that. It's got like a little fridge, and it's got a bed and like a sink and stuff. And so
some of the basic necessities.
Yeah. But we're going to be out there pseudo roughing it.
With the kids or not kids?
Oh, yeah, kids.
With the kids too.
Our friends, we have 2 and our friends have 4. So lots of kids. That'll be fun. So we're doing that for a week next month.
That's going to be an amazing trip. That's so cool.
Or a total disaster. We don't know yet.
You'll come away with some stories.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Himebaugh, we'd love to get to know a little bit about your career and why you chose medicine. So, what is it about medicine and ophthalmology that drew you in?
I really fell in love with science when I was in high school. I had an AP biology class with a teacher that just really brought it to life. And from that point forward, I really wanted to focus on science and things like that. But I like working with people. And so I didn't see myself, when I was in school, I saw what academic, like PhD scientists do. And that's not something I wanted to do. So a little construction today.
Yeah, there's a little construction there in the background. So
that's okay.
We heard it this morning and we were crossing our fingers.
We get a lot of that up in the clinic too.
Yes.
They're working hard.
Yes.
They're growing to serve you.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's the sound of progress in the background.
That is. So I really loved science, but I didn't want to be a scientist per se. I just like to know how things work and try to figure things out. And so medicine was a natural extension of that, to say I can have a job where I work with people, I get to solve problems, I get to feel like an expert, and I get to know a lot about something I'm really interested in.
And where did you go to school and residency?
So I went to college. My undergrad was at Brigham Young University in Provo, and I studied microbiology. and I did a political science minor. I know. I was history. Remember I told you I was history.
Yeah.
I love history, so I did political science.
Sure.
And I like to keep up with politics, but it's gotten so polarized these days. It's hard to enjoy following any of that and not just feel bad about it.
Yeah, there's something about maybe like that historical aspect to it that it's like, that's maybe more interesting because I know how that comes out and I don't have to live through the drama.
That's true.
Of that situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then residency
So after college, I moved to Dallas. I went to the University of Texas for medical school. So we spent 4 years there, and then the way it works is there's a match program. So after medical school, doctors all decide what they want to do, and they go to a bunch of interviews at a dozen different training programs, and then you rank it, and they rank their applicants, and a computer in the sky decides where you go. So the computer chose for me to go to West Virginia, which at first we were like, where is West Virginia? Very nice place, obviously. Beautiful place.
Yes.
A very poor state, unfortunately, very medically underserved, which is great for training because people didn't have access to I guess, convenient healthcare, and they often presented with really advanced disease, which as a trainee is great. You get to see all the bad stuff. And so when I come out here and I see people that are really taking good care of themselves, this stuff does not faze me at all. But I spent 3 years out there, wonderful time, great training, great mentors. And I decided at the end of that I wanted to do a little more training in front of the eye surgery. So I did a fellowship at Washington University in St. Louis for another year.
So you have been all over the U.S.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, yeah, every which way. So great experience in West Virginia. And then how do you end up in the Omaha area then?
Well, I guess I was looking for a job where I could do the cornea transplants and front of the eye surgery that I trained to do. And my fellowship program just put me in connection with, Midwest practices. And so that's kind of where we ended up. We wanted to live in a reasonably sized city, and that was a nice place for families and a nonstop flight to our families. And
smart way to plan ahead.
And so we decided to give Omaha a shot, and we love it. We've loved living here in the Midwest, and just people are nice all the time, and it's a nice place to live. But we never intended. I don't think when I was growing up, I thought I'm definitely going to live in Nebraska. It's a nice place.
Yeah, it wasn't on the top 5 list or anything, probably. No.
It's a nice place to live. Yeah,
I'm an Omaha kid, so I agree.
Yeah.
So.
I think suburbs are pretty much the same no matter where you live. Unless we were going to live on a mountain or on the beach, I don't think it really mattered. That's what we came to the conclusion.
Yeah, your day-to-day life doesn't change that much. Yeah.
Right.
And you come out here to Cass Health pretty regularly. Do you go to other facilities as well?
I do. I come out to Cass Health here once a week to do surgery and see patients in the clinic, pretty much every Wednesday. And then other days of the week, I'm at a variety of locations. My practice, Midwest Eye Care in Omaha and Council Bluffs. But I mostly work in Omaha, and we do surgery there, and we have a couple clinics. So we're busy out there. The other days I'm not here.
So it is Healthy Vision Month, and we'd love to talk to you about what's a day in the life of an ophthalmologist look like?
That's a good question. I think even until I finished medical school, I didn't truly understand what a doctor does every day. It's a lot more paperwork than you expect.
I can see that. Yeah. A lot of typing and charting and all that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But nowadays, now that I'm not in training, I get a lot of help. I have a lot of great staff, and I work with a lot of great colleagues that help me to be able to focus on patients and patient care, which is great. And I love coming out here to do that. But when I come out here, I guess the daily schedule when I come out to Cass Health is I leave my house about 6:15 or 6:30 and get to the hospital about 7:45. And some of my patients have been here a lot earlier than that to get ready for surgery. I feel bad when they have to wake up so early. But we start surgery at 8 a.m., so I go in and see all my patients in the preoperative area, and Then we have about 9 surgeries planned. So I'll go back and forth between the pre and post-op areas and the surgery and just talking to patients, telling them what to expect and taking care of that. And then have a bite of lunch after that. And we head upstairs to the clinic in the afternoon. I alternate between a couple of clinics here in town. I work at the Eye Associates Clinic upstairs. And then I also work at another clinic in town, Family Vision, downtown. And so I work with a few great docs here in town.
Excellent. So you did this great presentation a few years ago for us about eye myths. And what are a few of those big myths that you hear that you like to dispel?
I hear a lot from people that worry about a variety of things that they think are bad for their eyes. I'm reading too much. I'm reading in the dark. I'm watching TV for too long. I've got too much screen time. I'm out in the sun too much, whatever it might be. And they think that that's going to make their eyes less healthy. And the nice part about eyeballs is they mostly take care of themselves. I get the other question too, what can I do to take care of my eyes better? Do I need to take a pill or a drop or something like that? And unlike teeth, they don't need to be taken care of all that much. They take care of themselves. And the great thing I like to emphasize is you can't hurt your eyes by using them unless you're staring at laser beams or the sun.
Okay, laser beams and sun off the list.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, don't stare at those, but everything else you do is just fine. You can get a headache from reading for too long or get dry eye from reading and staring at something for a while, but it won't hurt your eyes. So, and it won't prevent any eye disease or cause any eye disease over the long run.
So I can read as much as I like. I'm good to go.
Oh, of course.
How do you work with our optometrist, Dr. Gergen?
That's a good question. We have a really important relationship because, as you may or may not know, there's really no eye surgeons that work full-time between Council Bluffs and Des Moines, which leaves a big desert of providers and care for the tens of thousands of people that live in between those two big cities. And if we didn't have this kind of arrangement, we wouldn't be able to take care of people outside of those big cities. So I work with, how many is it now? 3, 4, 5, I think, optometrists here in town that do a great job. They're outstanding. They take care of all the primary eye care here in town. Something gets more complicated or has a surgical need, then we have me and a couple other specialists that come out this direction to assist in taking care of those patients. So we kind of work hand in glove to take care of the patients out here that need general eye care and surgical eye care. Dr. Gergen and his other colleagues out here will identify patients that may need a surgical referral, and then they'll put them on the schedule to see me. And when I come this afternoon, I'll see several patients that have seen him, and we'll talk about what's going on with their eyes and how something that I do might be able to help. And then he'll also take care of some of the post-operative care too, so they don't have to come to Omaha to see me for that, since I'm not here every day. So it's nice. It gives patients convenience to get the exact same care that they can get in Omaha or Des Moines or Dallas or New York or Los Angeles. There is not a place that you can do more advanced eye care than right here at Cass Health.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think as a patient, it's so reassuring to know that, I'm going to see my optometrist regularly, and he is looking for those things, those red flags that he needs to bring to your attention, and you need to collaborate on then. So, and knowing too that I'll be able to have a surgery here too, because I think every Wednesday we hear in our huddle report, Himebaugh's got, X amount of surgeries today. So, we're all, you keep busy from what we hear.
They keep me busy, and I'm grateful for it because I love doing what I do out here. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I ask people that after every surgery. Did you have fun? Because I had fun.
Well, good.
Some of them do. Some of them.
Yeah, you were
just glad to get through it.
You were in the right career then. If you're like, this is work, but this is fun. That's a good sign. So Dr. Gergen mentioned that you are a corneal specialist. So explain to us, what does that mean for the average person?
I don't know that most people are going to need to see me, and you don't really want to see me for that particular specialty. Everyone gets cataracts. I like to say, if you live long enough, as long as you don't get hit by a bus or die early, then you're going to get cataracts someday. So,
because that's just simply an age-related thing.
That's just age-related. It just happens. It's a normal part of the eyeball getting older. But cornea problems generally are a result of some kind of disease you do not we'd rather not have. But luckily these days we have a lot of treatments and surgeries that have made having these kind of problems considerably easier. The cornea, if you don't know, is the clear dome structure on the front of the eye that you can touch. It's what a contact lens rests on. It goes right over the colored part of the eye. And then the other parts of the front of the eye that include my specialty are the mucous membrane that covers the surface, and then some of the front part of the eye, including the iris. And so people with diseases that affect that are people that I'd like to see. But you'd probably rather not have something that you need to see me for.
There must be some of those common types of cornea problems that you see here at Cass Health.
I do see them, yeah. I don't do any cornea surgery here. It does require some specialized surgical care that I do at the hospital in Omaha. But some common things that people might encounter, the most common reason for a cornea transplant, where we take a part of a cornea from a donor that's passed away and put it into somebody that's alive still, is a condition called Fuchs dystrophy, which is a condition where the cornea gets swollen. And we can replace the cells that dehydrate and keep the cornea clear from a donor. And so that's the most common partial thickness transplant. But other reasons for cornea transplants include like a severe infection that left scarring. So viral infections are not uncommon, like shingles or cold sore virus, or just bacteria from people improperly wearing contacts can cause a permanent scar that, it's basically like having a big crack in your windshield. You can't see through it. So got to replace the windshield.
Wow. That's just amazing. I mean, just fascinating that that's something that you can fix, Wow.
Yeah, that's wild.
So at Cass Health, we've talked about cataract surgeries, and that's something you do frequently here, probably on a weekly basis. So let's talk about what is that cataract, and why do people need that surgery?
That's a good question. I commonly hear people come in to talk to me about taking their cataract off. And I think what people imagine a cataract is that it's some kind of a growth across their eye.
Like
that
an
blocks
extra eyelid or something.
Something, yeah, that grows across, that wasn't there before, and I have to peel it off, and then I pull it out of the eye, and then they can see better. But it's actually not exactly that. A cataract is nothing new in your eye. Your eye has a natural lens. It's an M&M-shaped, clear protein structure that sits right behind your iris. It actually very similarly shaped to an M&M. And you've looked through it your whole life. When you were born, it was flexible. That's why when you're 0 years old through about 40, you don't need reading glasses. You can focus up close because that lens, as the muscle around it flexes, can change shape. But as we have more birthdays, the proteins in there can, break down and get harder, and that's why you start needing reading glasses because it's not as flexible. And as they break down more, they become hazy, yellow, opacified, and then it scatters the light and you can't see through it. That's what we call a cataract. And so it's really just a normal aging of the natural lens that you were born with. And so the solution to that is I can't fix that with glasses. I can't fix it with a drop, at least not yet. And the solution is to remove the natural lens with a surgery and replace it with a man-made lens. So that's, in a nutshell, what cataract surgery is.
Are all those lenses the same?
The lenses I put inside the eye? Uh-huh. That's a great question. Everybody's different. They come in basically what I'd say are shoe sizes. Because the point is to get the focus directly onto the retina, which is the film of the camera. So if we're talking about the lenses of the camera, I want it to focus perfectly. The reason people need glasses and contacts is because that focal length is not perfect. So they're trying to do something on the outside of the eye to modify how the light is bent so that it hits the right point inside the eye. So when I do the cataract surgery, we have the opportunity to reduce that prescription. Now, nothing is going to be as precise as how close we can get with a contact or glasses. But we can get awfully close depending on the type of lens we use. They come in powers from 0 to 35 diopters is what it's called of power. And then they have, 6 or 7 for each half diopter of 6 or 7 sizes of astigmatism correction for each of those. So there are literally hundreds of different combinations. Not that you're entirely unique, but the lens that you have will be one that probably your neighbor does not have, just like your shoe size might be somewhat unique. It's probably a little more fine-tuned than a shoe size, but I like to compare it to that. Then lastly, there are specialty lenses that help people to either see without glasses for distance or without glasses for distance and near, at least to reduce their reliance on readers for those kind of things. And that technology has improved dramatically over the last 10 years probably, and I think a lot of people have opportunities to not use the readers. I don't have to yet, but I'm not far off. And a lot of people are annoyed by reading glasses.
Yeah. I turned 42 this year, and it's just starting to happen for me. And so as someone who's really nearsighted, I'm like, can I get cataract surgery now? Yeah, because it's sounding pretty good.
It does sound nice, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Yep. So Dr. Gergen and I were talking about some of the other treatments and procedures that you do. He mentioned, is it YAG laser treatments, PRK, and cross-linking. So tell us about some of those things.
Yeah. So another really awesome thing about ophthalmology, and one of the many reasons I like it, is we get to use lasers, which growing up as a little boy, I mean, don't you just want to use laser beams? I mean, like every cool...
But don't look at them.
Yeah, don't look at the lasers unless this is meant for it, I guess. I have to tell people to look at these lasers. No, so we can use the lasers for a variety of things. And the advantages of lasers in general is that they can be, in certain circumstances, more precise and less invasive than like a scalpel-based procedure. So we do a couple of things in town with a laser, and then a couple things we bring people to Omaha for these bigger lasers that only exist there. But the YAG laser is just the type of laser that we use. It uses an ultraviolet spectrum light, and it just makes a little click noise. It doesn't cut into the eye. It creates a little shock wave right where the laser focuses, and it can break up like a hazy membrane behind the new lens we put in. Those can happen to people anytime, 10 years after getting cataract surgery. Or it can reduce people's reliance on drops if used on the drain part of the eye. So that's what a YAG laser. The other procedures that you mentioned, PRK and LASIK, are procedures that we do on the cornea. They're a different kind of laser that kind of vaporizes tiny amounts of tissue at a time. And there's, hundreds of exposures of this laser that reshape the cornea in a way that makes the light bend properly so that you don't need the glasses anymore for distance. So PRK and LASIK help people to see without glasses. And then cross-linking is a procedure that stiffens the cornea in people that have a condition called keratoconus, which is an instability to the shape of the cornea that leads people to have bad vision because, if you had a wonky camera lens that was kind of lumpy, bumpy, it wouldn't take very good pictures. Same way with that. So it halts the progression of that so people can maintain good vision.
And so those are all things that, like, during my regular, visit with Dr. Gergen or my optometrist, he might see some of those things and say, you know what, we've got to have you come over here and talk to Dr. Himebaugh because I'm seeing some things and there might be a procedure that would be helpful to you in your vision.
Of course, yeah. I think Dr. Gergen would catch any of those that you might need. Hopefully you wouldn't need anything, but if you do, then he'll know.
And, okay, I love to ask this just conversationally. When you think about the future of ophthalmology, what are you nerding out about? Like, what are you excited for?
I tell people if I had a perfect solution to reading glasses that I'd have my own Caribbean island. Of course, I'm not close to that. But there are people, big companies, working furiously to develop better treatments for nearsightedness. How do we get people the kind of vision that they had when they were young? And it is an incredibly difficult biomechanical bioengineering problem that we're not really close to. We cannot make what Mother Nature did. We can't replicate that, at least not yet. I hope in my lifetime we could. But I love to talk about optics, which is the nerdiest thing it's mostly physics. It's basically optics are how light bends. And so how do you take somebody that doesn't see well because the light is bending improperly and fix that? Where is the problem and how can you fix it? Whether that's contacts, glasses, LASIK, PRK, cornea transplants, cataract surgery. The goal is always in these is to make people see what they want to see. And that's one of the best parts about ophthalmology is that I'm giving people something that they really will enjoy, that they want. When I thought about specialties to go into, I think all the specialties are so important. But one thing I loved about ophthalmology is that people came out and they're really excited and happy about what they got done.
Oh, absolutely.
And I never came out personally out of a doctor's office happier than when I got a new pair of glasses or contacts that you just see so much better with. I remember when I was 5 years old and I got my first pair of glasses, I'm very nearsighted. And I said, there's leaves on the trees. There's gravel on the road. And I get to do that for grown-ups now, which is fun because it's been years since maybe they saw those little things and the colors and the clarity. And it's fun to do that. It's fun to work in an environment where you feel like you're helping people to do those things.
Outstanding. Dr. Himebaugh, thank you so much for coming on The Joy today, and thank you for bringing so much joy into our patients' lives.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you very much.